How's it going, everyone? So today I'm here with the release of the minigame I've been making. So if you haven't seen already, this is called Space Escape. Basically, it's like Temple Run, but you're not in a temple, you're kind of in the Pillar of Autumn. It's just the theme, so don't expect it to be lore accurate. But basically, you're running through these halls, being chased by this big ball of fire, and if it catches up to you, and it kills you because it is just a kill ball, also followed by all these explosions, then you die, and then if you die, then you lose. But if you get to the end and you get to the escape pod, then you survive and you win. Each area gives you 10 points. If you get to the end, you get 100 points, but if you hit the jumps, which are kind of like trick jumps, you get bonus points. So you can get the max points doing that. You can also party with some friends or random people and just kind of race to the end. After that, when you die, if you lose or if you don't make it, you get teleported back in this room and you wait until the map is restarted. Or if you don't make it out in time, you snooze and you'll lose. This gate does shut after the match starts. If you want to start the match, all you gotta do is run past this little starting area. As soon as you walk into this starting area, the gate will shut and the match will start. So I did give it a little leeway just in case you didn't know and you didn't watch this video. You can kind of figure out. It says escape and the gate starts shutting. But let's get this started. So as you can see, if you ever played Halo 1, especially on the Pillar of Autumn, one of the first things you ever do in a Halo game is I guess you're taught how to crouch and how to jump over some pipes. In this case, you're sliding, as you can see, since you're trying to get that momentum and speed to get through the map. But you just basically slide and jump through it, and I figured that people would be able to understand what to do because of all the tutorials on crouching under doors and, jumping over stuff. It's the most basic concept when learning Halo, but, you never know. But at least those visual cues will be there, just in case no one watched this video. You're basically just trying to jump through here as fast as possible. If you hit too many things, you will slow down and you will die. And the only way you can die is by being killed by this kill ball. As you can see, hitting too many stuff and also not, maintaining momentum makes you slow down and then you die and then you are the loser. If you lose, then you come back into this room or you respawn. And then you just wait for everyone to finish, and whenever the party leader or who everyone's done or whatever, you can just restart the match. It's pretty straightforward. Restarting the match is really fast, as you can see. So this time, what I'll try to do is maintain a little more momentum, and that way I won't die so easily, I hope. But yeah, I'll try to give you some tips on how to get through this, just so it doesn't seem too difficult or random. But it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to include this in an open format so that you can recreate the mission, I guess. If you don't like the layout, or if stuff blocks you when you jump, if you want a more smooth transition between jumping and sliding so you don't run into things as much, you can create your own maps if this one's a little too challenging or just not put together as well. I'm not a master of my own creations. I'm sure there's speedrunners out there that'll just hit this perfectly, but it does get easier, obviously, the more you practice. There's certain things that don't get easier, and then honestly, trying to go too fast will actually backfire. So be careful, and when you're making these jumps, you do gotta slide quite early. But yeah, as you can see, if you don't time things correctly, you kind of get slowed down and caught up in things. And that's really whenever you die in this. You can actually run into a couple things and still make it pretty easily. It's just, you'll see whenever you get slowed down too much. You'll notice it. There's certain things that are just not too worth it, and usually you get slowed down the most by going too fast, which is kind of ironic. You always get caught up in stuff, and then the doors, for example. Try to slide under too many things, and then next thing you know, you're crouch walking through everything. But yeah, be careful with these and always slide too early. If you let go of your stick like I just did, you'll hit it and then stop. If you get stopped by this, you will still get the points, but the thing is if you die, you'll lose, so you don't really get points. I mean, you can kind of say, like, I got 10 points that time, I got 20 points that time, but in the end, you know, you gotta finish to actually get the most points and to really be considered a winner. At least, that's the way I made it. Because, in the end, when you die, it does kind of put you back in the waiting lobby. But, you know, it's something that I would consider being a lot more chaotic too if you add a lot of people in here. I couldn't fathom this with a whole part or lobby of 24 people. I mean, only so much people could probably fit through these halls and make it at once. But that's probably more the fun too. Oh shit. It's like right behind you like that. Just keep sliding, like literally keep sliding and you will make it. You will make it, I promise. You basically have to time it right. So slide, bam, slide, bam, slide, bam. You want to like max out your sliding. You can tell as soon as it starts slowing down, and then it catches up to you. Luckily, all the sliding got me ahead, and I got 135 points, and I'm a survivor. Now, if you looked at my recent video, I hit 145 points, so there are ways to become a survivor with even more points. Alright, so here's the forge side of things. I figured I'd talk about this just in case you wanted to create your own version of this map or something like that. It's pretty straightforward. I started out by putting a ton of spawns in this room, and that's why sometimes you spawn and you're like looking in this wall or something. That's only because there's 24 spawns, that way if you have a full lobby you won't just spawn in outer space and die. And then you got backup spawns just in case they're covered or whatever. Then you also have initial versus the, you know, neutral spawns. They all have their own purpose, and they really can't overlap in the older Halo games, so I made sure they weren't just like blocking each other, and that's why they're kind of spread out as much as possible. But yeah, that's just in case. But anyways, so the things you need to create this, first of all, are all these script brains. Now, I was going to just put them in one, but it seems like whenever you use these, you kind of max out on your script brain. At least I did. Like, for example, like if you just watch this real quick, try to duplicate this stuff real quick. As you can see, it teleports out. That's because it can't really bring in any more stuff properly. And that kind of happens when you max out on a brain. So to solve that problem, I just simply created another brain. I thought it wouldn't work on a second brain, but for some reason you max out on one and then you can just create another one and then keep on going with your scripts. That's what I did at least, so if you want to use these for this type of game mode, feel free to. If you want to use these for anything, I don't care. I used this game mode to learn how to do all this stuff by myself. It was actually not that hard. Like, to be honest, it looks intimidating as shit. Like, it looks really intimidating. Like, at least it did to me whenever I first started, you know, doing this type of stuff. But, like, it's like copying and pasting a lot. And a lot of it's just, like, knowing what you need to do something, you know? Like, honestly, saving pictures and references for each, like, type of function and thing that you need in a game would be very useful, just, like, to refer to, I guess, because it's a lot of that. It's not really hard, it's just knowing whether or not something will work and what you need to get it to work. But anyways, you can use those, and anything I have in here, you can either just keep clicking on, and then you can make it into a prefab if you want. Some of it is already a prefab. Like, I don't know if any of these are still in prefab. The reason I unprefab them is because you can change all the materials easier. When you load them in prefabs, a lot of times the materials will be reset. There's so many bugs that cause this. That's why the back of the doors are actually gray. I kept resetting them to this, so I kept having to change it back, and I manually changed all of them back because it kept glitching out. Yeah, that's why I spent about half the time fixing bugs that shouldn't have happened in the first place. So that's why this is so difficult. At the same time, like, it's pretty straightforward, you know, if there was no bugs. I could have copy and pasted everything pretty easily if it didn't glitch out, but, you know, I tried to, and did my best. That's why you keep going through here. Some of these doors just aren't pretty on the other side, but, you know, you're running through it, you're not going to really see the back side, so I don't really care. Anyways, so yeah, here's the outside of the map. If you haven't already seen on the bottom left corner, I have 99% budget. That is primarily for building and copying and pasting this stuff on this layout, and that is why I stopped. I tried to make this as long as possible, and you know, I spent a decent amount of time on it pretty much all week, despite having to redo so many things and dealing with so many scripting and nav bugs, and just all those things are just so iffy right now, but I'm sure they'll get better. At least they work. They didn't even work before in the alpha or pre-release builds. But yeah, this is pretty awesome to do. If you want to like create your own map, it's pretty straightforward. What I would recommend doing is just grabbing a piece and duplicating it. By default, if you are at the right angle when you duplicate something that's already at perfect angles, it will duplicate at that angle as well. So for example, if you wanted to build like a hall, I could easily delete this, right? And say you wanted to turn and go this way. You could. You would just have to copy the corner, bring it over here and plop it, and then continue on. But if that's not what you wanted to do, I'm just gonna show you how to rebuild this. Like, you're worried about, you know, making this hall look normal again? It's really easy to build. This is the easiest way to build when you build stuff like this. Just duplicate it at a perfect angle, and it'll build it just like it should be. You see what I mean? So, you know, just doing that is like the easiest way, I guess, to make these just kind of flow through, and then you can just put a corner cap on and then keep on going. And then even if you want to like turn it this way, like the whole entire hall, that's kind of how I did it. You just kind of turn it and then center it. You can even put on magnets if you really want to. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward though. Don't click undo if you ever have a prefab or a whole bunch of objects. Every single time you click undo, it will break it. It will fuck it up, and then you'll get really fucking mad. So don't do that. I promise you'll hate yourself in 3 for 3. But if you just pretend that doesn't exist, oops, and then you accidentally click duplicate instead of delete like I always do, you won't go insane trying to build this, I promise. That's like my honest, like, sorry for cussing, but I swear that is the damn truth, and it is so annoying. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty straightforward though. If you know how to avoid bugs, it is pretty straightforward, you know. Anyways, I don't know what else to show you. I kind of just used the same thing over and over to get things to work, like the point box, pointer for the gate to shut. This is the finishing room. You know, this is where the ball stops. You just put pointers everywhere where you want navigation. I mean, you can use any object, but pointers like are pretty much made for that. It's just like a default simple object that only shows during forward so that you can see where things are supposed to go and what they're supposed to do. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I guess that is everything I wanted to talk about. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, I guess. If not, I will be releasing this. Oh, here's a prefab. You can just click this and save it, you know, or wait, wrong one. Save prefab, for example. Or if you just like how like the hall looks or something like that, you can just click it, save it. We can even add this to and save it, you know, as a prefab. Or you gotta add to the prefab and then you click save prefab. But anyways, that way, if you want to use it, you can. And then what I would recommend, like if you're trying to build like onto a corner or something like that, when you like plop a prefab on, it is not easy to copy and paste prefabs. So like for example, if you want to move this, you really need to ungroup it first. You could probably rotate it, but moving it will either crash your game or just ruin the object. So ungroup them. At least for me, that's what it does. And then if you want to add another one, the floor is included too. Oh well. If you just want to add another one, just be really careful, you know, because it's like I was gonna say. Let me ungroup this. Ungroup. Bam. Prefab. Cast prefab. Alright. Now, for example, if I wanted to add it, prefabs text. When you add it, it'll really glitch out, you know, and then honestly, it might add multiple of them if it can. Like sometimes that even happens to me. So if you were to try to move this right now, it would probably crash your game or just mess up. So just a big tip before I end this video, always ungroup it before you move it. Otherwise, just let me show you. Let me show you because it'll probably crash my game. Oh my god. Oh, there it goes. Yep, you see what I mean? It already broke it, and it already glitched out. If I were to keep doing that, it wouldn't just like ruin the block and crash my game, but it would, like, I don't know. It just causes so much unforeseen problems. So don't do that, please. Like, you will regret it. Anyways, yeah, that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you guys on the next creation of Halo Infinite Forge. Or maybe some other videos in the meantime. But yeah, I'll catch you on the flip side. It's Corbin. Peace out.